Hi everyone. In this video, let us discuss the remaining topics under Human Resource Management, fifth chapter, that is performance appraisal. In live class, we already discussed about traditional methods of appraising performance of employees. So today, in this video, let's see the modern behavioral methods or modern methods of performance appraisal. See, why this method is developed, the main reason is to remove the defects, what are all the defects are there in traditional method. To remove that, these modern methods have been introduced. So let's see what are all the methods available for performance appraisal. So first one is BARS, that means behavioral anchoring or anchor rating scales method. So this is the latest method to appraise the performance of employees in terms of their behavior. And this bar is a description of various degrees of behavior with regard to their performance, different dimensions of performance like knowledge, judgment, skills in operation of register, skills in bagging, consciousness, human relation skills, then organizational ability of check stand work, skills in monetary transactions, and observational ability. So various specific performance dimensions, that means different degrees of behavior have been observed here. So especially job behaviors of employees from critical incidents, which can be grouped into the most effective and ineffective behavior. So in one particular situation, how employee is behaving and how he should be and what is his actual behavior in that moment. So that is observed in this method. This method appraises the performance of those employees who are familiar with the particular job to identify the major components of bars. Then the appraiser observes the behaviors, different dimensions of behaviors of employees. Then he is going to perform, he's going to compare with them the desired behavior. So actual behavior and the desired behavior is going to be compared. So this method is more valid and scientific, and it is expected to give more reliable result, as it aims at reducing the mistakes normally committed in appraising the performance of employees. The second method is appraisal by results or management by objective. So this concept was first introduced in 1954 by Peter F. Drucker, and he is considered as the father of modern management. Today, by objective or MBO has been recognized as an effective and operational technique of performance appraisal, and a powerful philosophy of management. It's a powerful philosophy of management. It is also known as, so this approach or this method is also called as goal setting approach. When it is appraised, when this method is applied to performance appraisal, so this method is called as goal setting approach. And this technique strongly believes in the active role of subordinates in decision making. That means the subordinates are given targets and performance is rated on the base of achievement of targets given to them. So this method, it is mainly depends on the subordinates decision making. So how they are reaching the target given. So targets are fixed in consultation with superiors by taking into consideration the different areas like contents of the job, targets, how much it should be achieved, that is target, so when it should be finished, like that. These key areas are determined by the superiors. Then it is informed to the subordinates, and they, if they complete the task on time with the right quantity, then they are considered as they have reached the target, and their performance is good. As the targets are set in consultation with the employees, they get self motivated, so controlling efforts on the part of superior are minimized. So the success of this method, it mainly depends on three important factors like goal setting, active participation, feedback. first they have to set a goal, then they have to get active participation from their subordinates. Later on, their performance feedback is given to the employees. But this method is suffers from many limitations, like it can be effectively used only when goals are properly set for the performance of employees, and it is a time consuming method, as a lot of thinking and adjustment is required for setting the target from the both side, like superior and subordinates. And it is suitable for only appraising the performance of executives and not for lower level employees. It attaches greater significance to the training and development programs than performance appraisal of the employees. Then the third method is assessment center method. Under this method, employees drawn from different departments are told to assemble at the assessment center, that is for a few days. The main purpose is for appraising the performance of employees. So your executive managers who act as appraisers, they use simulation techniques such as role playing, management games, in basket exercises for assessing the performance of the employees, and which determine the successful completion of the job. At such centers, personal qualities of employees like knowledge, their interpersonal skill, communication skill, leadership qualities, decision making skills, and the ability to plan. So, everything is observed, and later it is measured in order to rank them in the order of merit. They are also interviewed for judging their worth in terms of work motivation, job satisfaction, career orientation, and dependence on others while performing their duties in the organization. This method is taking it takes a longer duration to complete the appraisal process, and so it is costly. It breeds unhealthy competition among employees, and those who negative ranking, they may get demoralized or demotivated. Then the fourth method is human resource accounting method. Every organization it is concerned with the cost incurred on human resources and contribution derived from it. So your cost includes the amount spent on human resources such as manpower planning, recruitment, selection, induction, placement, training and development, financial and non-financial benefits extended to the employees, etc. So your contribution is the benefit derived by the organization in terms of productivity and value added by employees. And the difference between cost and contribution here reflected by the performance of employees. So performance would be positive when the contribution is more than the cost, and it is negative it is if a cost is more than the contribution. Next topic is 360-degree performance appraisal. So normally performance of an employee is assessed by his manager or his immediate superior or by expert. So when it is appraised by people around him, so it is called as 360-degree performance appraisal. When number of appraisers appraise the performance of an employee, then it is called as 360-degree performance appraisal. So who will appraise the performance of employees? Will see there are many appraisers. The first one is immediate superior. Immediate superior means who are in the direct contact with the subordinate, who has authority and control over the subordinate. So he is going to review the work and appraises the performance of employees. Then fellow employees or peers. So fellow employees who work with the employee whose performance is appraised. So peer is given the task to appraise the fellow employees performance only when he is in touch with that employee for a longer period of time. Then subordinates, the performance of superior, sometime it may be assessed by his subordinates. So here feedback is given by the subordinate on the performance of their superiors. So this will help the HR manager to assess the capabilities of a managers. Then customers, see here customers, they have given with the feedback forms to give and important details of the employees during sales talk. Consultants, so your consultants are appointed from outside, so when they have no trust on the immediate superiors, so these consultants they observe the work of employees, then they prepare a report and they pass on to the management. Then merits of 360-degree performance appraisal, so it provides a scope for improvement. When employees are aware about their performance, they can use it for improving their strengths and reducing their weaknesses. Empowered subordinates, so it empowers the subordinates to appraise the performance of their bosses, so they feel that they also got some recognition, so they are going to rank the performance of their boss. Increased organizational learning, so organizational culture, ambience, so all those things will be get know to the employees. Flexible superiors, managers who are very rigid, who are very strict, so now they are forced to change their attitude as they know that they also oppressed by their subordinates. Then demerits, there are many demerits of 360 perform 360-degree performance appraisal. So first one is in ignoring individual goal. So 360-degree appraisal system may ignore the performance of employees in terms of goals, only the target given, how they are performing in a particular situation, that is being observed here. Humiliation to employees, when you are get ranked by your subordinates who are under a lower level who are under a lower level employment, so that time you may get a negative feeling, so you may not be ready to accept the negative feedback given by your subordinates. Biased appraisal, so responses given by peers and others, it may be biased. You may give a good ranking to your friend, or the person to who you know well, so it may lead to biased appraisal. Then lack of expertise, the person's appraising a particular employee may not be fully competent to do so, so subordinates, they are appraising the performance of their superiors, so they may not be expertise and they may not have that knowledge, so that's why this method lacks expertise. The next concept, self appraisal. In this case, employees gives a self appraisal report to their superior. So for this purpose, the appraisal forms are distributed among employees, in which they have to give all the details of their performance during a particular period. So this form contains different columns to fill up relating to the information regarding the targets given to them, target achieved by them, problem faced by them in achieving the target, and the relationship with their superiors, and quality of work life, then steps to be taken by the management for improving the situation, and if there is any suggestion, so all those things will be included in that form given, so they need to uh, give their opinion on that. So here employees are the best judges for appraising their own performance, because the self appraisal system act as a best motivator for employees to excel in their performance. The system helps employees to identify their strengths and weaknesses, and it gives or it suggests the way for improvement, or it suggests them for better use of their talents, skills and experience, etc. So your details given by the employees in self-appraisal form, also it helps the management to take some important decisions for addressing the problem faced by employees at workplace, or for improving the working conditions provided to the employees, and for improving the relationship between employees and their superiors, etc. However, to have better results in self-appraisal system, There is a need to educate the employees, particularly at lower level of the organization, on the techniques of appraisal, since they may be ignorant in giving details regarding their own performance. So that's why it is needed to give some education regarding how to uh, evaluate your performance. Yes. So despite of the problems in this method, so it is this method self-appraisal system makes it inevitable on the part of employees to think seriously about the adequacy of their contributions, about the hurdles that prevent from showing good performance, and about their relationship with their superiors and management. So by this we are going to finish the fifth chapter. Thank you.